Morning, everybody. Hi again, and welcome to Into the Dark Zone, your weekly digest of everything and anything The Division. This is episode 6, and I'm your host this week, Sean, aka Spider Monkey. Mike, aka Champagne, is away, again, defending his HeroClix title in the Great White North, but he promises to be back next week. And we also have Julio, aka Crashblade.
Hello.
Hi. And Brad, aka
Hey
Screaming
guys.
Pirate. So remember to tweet us at Into the Dark Zone and ask any questions you may have via the comment section on our Twitch stream, as we will have a question and answer segment near the end of our show. First up, we have news and events. So this week, we had patch 1.0.2, and it had some pretty good stuff in it. It was huge for like 2 weeks in and having a patch the week before. We have, I don't want to go over everything because that'll really bore you, and I've been talking enough already. But here are a few highlights. No more Bullet King, and actually speaking of that, we should probably have a little farewell to the king moment of silence.
Right.
Yes.
Give it
Here's my violin solo
a 5 second.
for the king.
Alright, I don't want to give it more than that, because son of a bitch wouldn't drop a Caduceus for me.
Oh man, you farmed him for a while too.
Yeah, you did. It was
Yeah,
a
I
little
did.
nuts. It was a little.
Yep. A little bit. We do have better drops in challenge mode, which I think all of us have seen already. And then in the Dark Zone, rogue penalties are greatly reduced,
Yes.
which I like so far. We'll get into that more later. And also increased high-end drop rate from named 31 and 32 enemies, as well as a chance in the key chests. So there's a ton of other stuff in the patch. Read through the notes if you're interested. And then about a day after that, they had their state of the game, and they said, coming soon, we will be introducing new endgame activities. Say you want more info? Don't worry. We'll talk more about this big upcoming update within the next few days. We will be live streaming the Division Special Report show soon. We will shed some light on the content of the next title update. If you're excited for some early reveals, tune into our live stream so you don't miss a thing. And that's twitch.tv/thedivisiongame. That's their official. There was a rumor that it was going to be yesterday, and then Hamish came on. It was from some German site. Hamish came on and said no, but I'm thinking probably like Monday or Tuesday. We'll probably do it.
Nice.
So hopefully it'll be on soon. That wraps up the news, and now on to our next segment, the Week in Review with Julio.
Okay. So for the weekend review, we have obviously we've all been already a week, and since we hit 30, we've been running around doing our little bits and pieces out there. So what have you guys done since we hit 30? So I guess we'll start with you, Sean. Actually, Brad, you spoke too much, Sean. You can wait. Brad.
Since I hit 30, I've been doing my best to get to challenge modes and then trying to run challenge mode as much as I can. Just because the Phoenix credits from that is the best right now, in my opinion. And I haven't really got a chance to hop into the Dark Zone since they made their patch notes on Monday night, Tuesday. So I've been trying to run the challenge modes, trying to buy as many blueprints from the vendor upstairs in the base of operations as well.
Mhm.
Yep, that's mostly. I've been this week getting back into the Dark Zone. We covered, me and Champagne covered most of the stuff the week before, but mostly back into the Dark Zone and then trying to finish collecting all the intel. I do want to platinum, so hit my 100 activations of the super, and now I just need to collect all the intel, kill 20 rogues. I'm probably halfway there, and do all the hard modes, which I don't even know what I'm missing, so I'm just going to run through all the hard mode
Yeah.
missions.
Yeah, me, same boat. I've been running around in the Dark Zone, obviously just getting whatever mats. That's primarily, because we don't need any purples at least, or any high-end gear that might replace something.
Yeah.
Definitely ranking up to trying to get to 50, because that's where the next tier. That's where the next tier is as far as gear goes.
Yep.
That we need to replace. So another thing, Intel. How have you guys been doing on the Intel? I know a lot of people, a lot of our guys have been running around getting Intels, trying to get that. What was it that you get, Brad? I think it's a jacket of some sort.
For every grouping of intel that you finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know some people. It's a very nice looking jacket too.
Man,
Well, yeah, there's different colors
yeah,
for each, but the disappointing thing is that you can actually randomly
yeah.
get these jackets,
Ah,
which is kind of silly. Like
So
they, I don't know.
oh, that
one of the
sucks.
jackets is the what is it? One's the meadow jacket. Remember
Uh-huh.
that really ugly jacket I showed you that had the like bright green sleeves, the
Yes.
white chest, and the dark green bottom? That's the
Yes, I
meadow
remember
jacket.
that one.
I got that out of a scavenging crate.
Ah, that sucks. You would think they would put like an exclusive for just finishing, getting all
Nope.
the intel. All right.
I think it was meant to be, and then something, whatever, somehow it got in the pool, and not the end of the world, but a little
Yeah,
Yeah.
disappointing.
agreed.
All right. Um,
What about We can start with Brad. What about like the weapons that you've settled on and gear loadouts, that kind of thing? What are you running now?
As far as what I've settled on, I actually am really enjoying assault rifles. I had LMGs on my radar for a long time, especially once I picked up the Pakon. It was really good, but I feel like the Pakon is a great gun as soon as you hit 30, and it's a so you can has the destruction on it and et cetera. But once you start getting more high end blueprints and you can start crafting what you want, so I have destructive on at least a couple other guns now. And if you get one on like my favorite right now is the Black Market AK, you get destructive on that and you're doing 8,500, 8,700 damage a shot, which
nice.
is 3,000 damage more a shot than an LMG. Like, yeah, it's lower damage, but at 3,000 damage is 3,000 damage.
Yep.
Yeah,
You have to make those bullets count for
that's a
sure.
lot.
Right.
Definitely.
And then for my secondary, I've been back and forth. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm trying to go SMG. Other times, like you have to go marksman rifle. I'm not dealing with things up close and personal in some of those challenge modes. Like, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, same for me. I've always been a fan of assault rifles, so that's
Hmm.
always been my primary go-to weapon. Um, I'm toggling between the Caduceus and the MK16. I told you I picked up a level 31 MK16, which I love
Right.
that rifle. Um, it's a lot more stable than the Caduceus. Obviously, it doesn't have the amount of DPS. It's about 500 DPS less
Okay.
than the Caduceus, but it does have the destructive perk. I think that's the one that you were talking
Nice.
about.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's
Armor
16.
destruction.
Yes, it's got 16%
Yeah.
armor destruction, so that thing shreds to enemies, especially
Oh,
during the
okay, so
dailies.
it's a superior. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a superior. It's a level 31, so it's a very nice weapon.
Nice. Nice.
For secondaries, I've gotten I've gotten two Midases dropped from the Dark Zone.
I don't
Okay,
even want to
so
talk about it.
I found I found one, but the funny thing is, I'm a big fan of the Vector. I was using the Vector since I crafted that first, so it had some type of sentimental value. So the first Midas I had, I basically just stashed it, right? Because it was, as far as DPS went, it was below my
Hmm.
Vector. Then I got another Midas, um, probably a few days ago, probably Tuesday, I think it was, and it had about
Hmm.
500 more DPS than the Midas I had in the stash, which is great. So I broke down that other Midas and kept obviously the better one. I switched over to the Midas, and let me tell you, I haven't switched back since.
Wow.
Listen. I've got 63 rounds on that weapon, and obviously the whole point, yeah, the whole deal with this is how many shots can you get off without reloading, right? That's just effective DPS. If you can get 63 rounds in a vector, that'd be nice, but unless you get like one of these 102% mags, you're not
Yeah.
gonna hit that.
I mean,
And
I have
hell,
a
I don't think even with a 102% mag you're gonna hit that, because it's the
one either.
base.
No,
Yeah, it's
Vector's
the base is
20.
20, so you're looking at 41, 42 tops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not to mention you also get the unless you roll a vector with this stat, the one that gives you health back per crit, you get health back
Yeah.
3%.
It's self-preserved. It's
Yeah, so
so
preserved.
good.
There you go. It's an awesome one, man. It's great. So I've been running with the Midas since. I haven't turned back. So I'm waiting to get the AUG, because I'm a big fan of the AUG. And
Right.
like Sean's been mentioning,
Yeah.
the Navy MP5. Those are
That's what I
two
want.
good
Yeah.
weapons as well. I had a Navy MP5. I had a superior version of it way back when, which was nice. It has a high rate of fire. The rate of fire on the Midas is actually very low. for an SMG. Again, it depends how you like to use your weapon, but for me, it's how many bullets can you discharge out of that weapon. That's
Yeah.
and in the end, it's bullets
You
downrange.
just have a rate of fire mag.
Yes,
on
I
it,
do
right?
rate of fire for sure. Because the base rate of fire on that, it's 555. That's RPM.
Okay.
So I've got it up to 770 now, I think. Which is, it's not
Okay.
as fast as the Vector, because the Vector does, like, depending what mag you put on it, you're doing at
Over
least
1,000.
900, yeah, or 1,000,
Oh
easy.
yeah.
But you can have 1,000, but then I've got double your mag size, So
Right.
it's a trade-off. It's
I
definitely a
want to
trade-off.
say the Midas is based on what is it? It's like the Police T821 or something like that.
No, is
think
it?
so, yeah.
No, I think there's a specific
Isn't it?
police, because I even got another high end of that, the police, the MT82 or whatever.
Is it something like that?
Something
Okay,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, that might be something else because I got a black market T8. I think black market T821 that I had in the beta, and it was like that
Yeah.
Uzi. It's like it looks like an
okay,
Uzi.
there might be. It might have a little, because I've seen the actual picture. It might be a little bit different because the police one has a
Okay.
little. It's got actually a stock, like a foldable stock. I mean, that's kind of irrelevant right now. 'Cause
Well, sure, but
Yes,
different
yes,
accessories,
it's
right?
just
But
in
it's
picture,
the
yeah.
same-
That's the
But
same concept though.
Harkening back to your Midas, we what was it? 2 weeks ago they disabled that train talent,
Mhm.
and now I think it's only on shotguns, snipers, and I forgot what else. Maybe sidearms. I could be wrong, but it only appears on those weapons now. And they replaced it with what was it on your Midas? It's a different talent.
The three talents that I have on the Midas, I have self-preserved is one of them.
Mhm.
I have the other one is the talent that you get an extra 13% damage if you're within 10 meters of the enemy. That's the other one I have. Yeah, so that's the one I have. And what is the third talent that's on that Midas?
Higher crit chance when your health is full.
Yes, there you go. That's it. Yeah, so you know what? I've had tons of fun with that weapon. You close in on, I mean, it's a submachine gun. It's meant to be a close quarters weapon. So once you close in on an enemy,
Yeah.
you just rip into them. Because I'm getting at least body shots. I've seen 11K, crits are going
Nice.
high. Yeah, so it's
Nice.
up there.
Yeah,
It's definitely, it's a very nice weapon.
I was concerned about them taking out the train talent. No, it was overpowered, given.
All right.
But I was concerned about what they were going to replace it with. I was like, man, it better be something good. I don't think they could have picked a better talent for an SMG.
Okay.
The one where you do bonus damage when you close on an enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great.
that's
It-
perfect for it.
Yeah, that was good. So myself, I've been running still the M1A because I
Come on.
love it. And there was one on sale in the past week that is just ridiculous amount of accuracy that
Oh my
you
God.
can just shoot
Yes.
off, and
So-
the reticle does not
So
expand. You
stupid.
can just snap shots
Yeah.
off like.
Thank you for whoever posted
But
that.
actually, this morning, I set up my old one that I still like and I need more electronics to unlock. It has armor damage and elite
Mhm.
damage, so I might go back to that by putting more accuracy stuff on it. Whereas before I would use other damage or stability, whatever. I've gotten it not as good, but
Yeah.
close to.
Nice.
So I can't shoot it as fast, but I found I don't shoot as fast as you could because with the stability it's still going off a
Right.
little bit, right? So you still need that like quarter of a second to get it back on target anyway. So I don't mind if it expands a little bit if it comes back fast.
Gotcha.
I gotta play with some other setups because it does more damage and it does more damage to elites and
Mhm.
armor.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That makes
I play
sense.
with that. Yeah. Secondary, I'm still using the Vector because I haven't gotten anything better yet. So.
Okay.
I'm at rank 40 Dark Zone. As soon as I hit 50,
Oh, wow.
I'm getting that. Yeah, as soon as I hit 50, I'm getting that Navy MP.
Man, you guys have left me in the dust on Dark Zone. I'm still at like 33.
I just hit 41 last night.
We'll get you there.
Whew.
Yeah, but Sean, that's going back on that that M1A. I actually bought that M1A. That is that's another thing that I rolled. Sniper rifles, a secondary, especially when we're running the tunnel, when
Mhm.
we're running the
Yeah.
the event center. Even though the event center, I've gotten to a point where when you're going right towards the end, that you get to the boss, I just blitz right to the back. I just wail on the snipers with SMG, just take them out right off the bat, be done with them. I just
And
make
they're
it like
squishy.
yeah, exactly. So
In challenge?
yes, in the challenge mode. So I went in the
Jesus.
room. I went in the room.
Reasons I hate running stuff with
Oh
crab
man.
plates.
But
Wait,
listen,
wait,
they
go
are
it. What are you doing
squishy.
up
They are
there?
Called
squishy.
out.
But listen, you go out there, right? Because none of the enemies have spawned yet. So the snipers are just taking position. You start running out there. I went through the left. So I started my circuit. I went through the left,
Yep.
ran around. I saw the first one. There's a JTF guy back there. So whatever. So I just come like right around the top and just unload on that one. Kill that sniper because they're squishy.
Alright.
And then go to the other one that's on the other side because they're taking cover. They don't know what's hitting them. So by the time you just basically come around the right, snipers are done, and the encounter is just about starting. So that's one less headache you have.
My thing with them being squishy, since I run a sniper, I can counter snipe them, and drop them in like 3 shots. So why am I gonna run all
Okay,
the
but
way
here's the
down
thing.
there?
What's your firearms right now, John?
Mine is like 3100.
Yeah.
Oh my god, seriously? Okay, let me put it to you this way. I haven't broken 2K firearms yet.
Wow.
Yeah, I do a lot of damage with the
That's
the marksman.
that's a bit much. I'm not gonna lie.
You never have too much.
Yeah, my electronics is not very high. And I keep my stamina around. I was just messing around with it this morning, and I have it's at like 49,000.
Okay. I'll tell you what. On that note, we heard your numbers, Sean. What are you running, Brad? As far as your firearms, your stamina, and your electronics, currently, where you at?
So I kind of stalled out my firearms at like 1973, I think it is, because I knew I would hit the numbers I need to hit for unlocking different talents. Because most high-end guns, the highest I've seen, the ones I have, is like 1889 on a high stat.
Okay.
Now, given there are ones like I want to say proximity to a target are like 2300 in that ballpark. But I just kind of sat there because I knew I could unlock talents around there. My stamina has been a little more in flux because I want to be a little more tanky. So I'm back up to, I want to say 2600 stamina for my black market AK. Now, when I switch back over to like a Caduceus or something, I drop my health back down around like the 2100 marker for stamina, just so I have enough electronics so I can unlock everything in the Caduceus. So,
Okay.
my electronics is kind of the thing that's in flux right now, and depending on what weapon I'm using, if I'm using something more like the black market AK, my health is a little bit higher. I have a little more armor. If I'm using something that's a little more skill power based, I like with the Caduceus, so I have everything unlocked. I'm dropping a little bit of health, but I'm picking up almost 4 or 5K skill power. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm currently running around 25. I think about 25 and a half, almost 2600 firearms, about 2500 health, stamina, and 948 electronics. But since I have some of the perks on some of my weapons, I actually have 13,000 skill power, which is, it's not the best, but it's not bad either. It's good for what I need it for, right?
It's higher than mine.
Yeah, but it's something that we need to that actually segue us into something else that's very important that you were talking about right now, Brad. Well, before, let me just finish my thought. I was already going ADD here. The firearms on my weapons, on the Caduceus specifically, and this is why sometimes I just go back and forth between that MK16 I was talking about. The MK16, I have all the talents unlocked because it's based off of firearms and stamina. Same thing with the Midas. It's firearms and stamina. The Caduceus, on the other hand, I don't have any electronics, and I'm not going to be popping electronics anytime soon.
Because I want to say the electronics you need on the Caduceus is 1889.
Like yeah.
1889. That's what I was saying. Like, because sometimes I feel like you need to focus on your stats. I feel like that's the best thing. Where do you want your numbers to be versus what talents can you unlock? I think that's the big debate is, are you going to focus on unlocking talents? Or are you going to focus on getting your health and your firearms where you want them? And I think there's going to be a lot of play with that. I think that's going to be a big debate for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing, though, that's, I think, shouldn't be a debate, armor.
No.
And that is, Yeah, and that's our tip of the week this week. Get your armor up as high as you can.
Yes.
That mitigation makes such a huge
Yes, it
difference
does.
in challenge modes and in the dark zone.
So armor mitigation cap right now is 65%. From what I've seen, about 400 armor translates to about 5%, give or take. So try to roll armor on your gear if you can. Also remember that if you buy like the high-end gear mods, which are fantastic, try to
Yes, buy
roll
those.
armor, bonus armor on like stamina or anything like that, like 'cause it's fantastic.
Hmm.
Uh, I think Julio, you were saying that you were sitting below 50%. As soon as you hit 50%, it was like just night and day.
It's yes. I was sitting at 46, and remember, I was telling you, yeah, it's not that bad, man. I'm doing okay because I had at the time. Well, I still do, but I have 7,400 health, right? Not
Okay.
74,000 health, sorry. And at 46% damage mitigation, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm all right. But I'm taking hits, and
Hmm.
they hurt. I hit 50% damage mitigation yesterday while we were talking. I I made a stamina mod, and it rolled armor as an attribute.
Nice, nice.
It had 133. Anyway, point is
Okay.
that once I upgraded two of the mods, two of my stamina mods into armor mods, I went up above 50%. I'm at 50.12 right now, and my friend,
Wow.
it is night and day. That 4% makes all the difference in the world. I'm definitely a lot more tankier, and with 74k health, yeah, and
Yeah.
50%.
I'm sitting at about 57% mitigation and around the same health. And like, I mean, you've noticed whenever you were what, 10% less than me? We ran a challenge
Hmm.
mode. You'd go
Yeah,
down to stuff that I was just like, nah, I'm okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
Yep.
and
definitely.
it's so crazy. I was talking to some of the guys over in the division community, their Discord, and they're at armor cap. They're at the mitigation cap. They said
Mhm.
they dropped like 4% so they could pick up more firearms or skill power. And they said, "Man, I went into the dark zone and I felt squishy again." And I was like, "Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Seriously?" And once you start building up that armor, especially once you break the big, I feel like milestones, like the big, like the 50%, the 60%. I feel like it
Hmm.
just really turns your world around as far as how you feel tanky in this game and how you feel a
Hmm.
lot more spongy, bullet spongy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How much
Definitely.
more? How much more intense you're gonna be as far as your playstyle goes? Going balls
Right.
to the wall, DPS, just running out there like a maniac instead of taking cover.
I mean,
That's,
Sean, you were talking about your
The
armor earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, and this brings me to another tip of the week. If you are a fairly fresh 30 and you go into the dark zone and you're by yourself, if you see another person by themselves, you might not want to start stuff. Because I went in there the other night, right, and just past one guy, I'm like, ah, whatever, he's by himself, I'm not going to worry about it. Go straight down, I start shooting a couple cleaners or whatever it was that were just down the street, and I get hit in the back a few times, and he goes, like, gentleman's rogue, right? The 19-second timer. So I killed the guys in front of me, and it didn't really hurt that much, so I just turned around and looked at him, I'm like, and I'll give him, I'll let it count, I'm not going to do anything. And he starts opening up on me again. So it took about a third of a clip of my vector, which usually a full clip isn't quite enough to drop somebody in the dark zone, unless I, by myself, another player. He dropped in a third of a clip like nothing. I'm like, what are you doing? And I didn't, I had just walked into the dark zone. I didn't even have a yellow bag or anything. Like, I don't know what he was
That's really
thinking.
funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious though. But I give that to that armor mitigation
Yeah.
yeah.
because I was running at like 56% and he was barely doing anything to me.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
the thing, guys. It's like all of us are around 50, 56%. I can't even imagine once we hit armor cap on that 65%.
Yep.
Like, come on. Like, that's when those are the guys that are running around that you can just go rogue whenever you want because it's like, who's going to kill me?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
There was a guy when we were in the dark zone a while back ago, and I'm not gonna say so much that I attribute it to his health pool, as much as probably that guy was already armor capped. Mind you,
Mm.
I didn't have a caduceus or one of the really good weapons. But anyway, I was just unloading on the guy with a vector, and his health didn't budge. Okay? Like, what the hell is going on here? because I'm just unloading round after round on this guy, and he wasn't shooting at me. That's the worst part. He wasn't even shooting at me. He was shooting at somebody else. When he turned his he turned his attention to me, I was at him like, dude, I'm just gonna give up. Stand here, okay, shoot me, put me out of my misery because I can't do anything to you. So it was just bad. But and I know, look, yesterday we had an encounter. It was who was it? I think it was Solid Snake. No, it wasn't Solid Snake. He was out by then. It was a buddy of mine from work, and two other guys we picked up in the dark zone. We were at the library, and there was two guys. We were clearing out this area. There was two non-hostiles, right? I refuse to call them non-hostile. Everybody hostile, right? But anyway, we were out there at the library, and we went ahead. We were clearing out all the enemies, and lo and behold, it's like you said. Here comes a guy. Throws a freaking sticky grenade out after we kill everybody, and he throws it at one of us, and boom, they go rogue. So I'm already at 50% damage mitigation, and I'm noticing the difference from when I get hit with that sticky grenade then as to the day prior when I was at 46, which I'll touch on that now in a little bit. But anyway, the guy was just ripping into me, and I hadn't even popped my super ability. So I turned around. I was running with that Midas. I was just mowing that guy down, and I can tell that his armor mitigation wasn't that high because he was just dropping like a bag of bricks. Took him down. His friend was around the corner, just took off running. We started chasing him down. We killed him as well. But he even popped his super, just so you can tell what the damage mitigation, how effective it is. He had a tactical link. He pops a tactical link. I'm at full health. He pops a tactical link and just basically just either this guy's got really low DPS or I don't know what, but I think he just took about a bar and a half away of my health. Okay? So
yeah, they were probably a little undergeared,
Yeah.
I would guess. That's the sticky bomb is super
It
dangerous
is
because if you
very
have somebody
dangerous.
geared that has a lot of
It is
electronics,
very
that thing
dangerous.
hits
Yeah.
really hard.
So
this goes back. Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
I was reading around on Reddit the other day, and they said that if you get the talent where you do more damage after you use an explosive ability and you use another one, they said if you use the Seeker Mine with the Air Burst and then you follow up with a sticky, your sticky can hit a person in the dark zone for 300k damage.
That's crazy.
So I mean,
that's not-
you throw that thing on anything because it's damage and then damage again. You throw that thing out, you do damage to an NPC, and you turn around and go, "Oh, hi guys!" Boom, that's your whole group.
Yeah.
Now, given that's not really thinking about armor mitigation or anything, but even with that, like that much damage, even if you mitigate 65%, it's gonna hurt a lot.
You're still dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other night we had and this will basically segue this whole segment that we're covering right now into our thoughts on the Dark Zone post-patch. But I had this encounter where I was running a 46% damage mitigation at the time. This was 2 nights ago, I think. And Sean had just left the group. It was Yakumo, Tarkle, and myself. And we see a rogue. We probably had like 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops, each of us, before we all split. So you go, let's go hunt the rogues. Let's go, get some bounties or whatever. So we went all the way from DZ06 all the way to DZ02. We find the rogues. And we take out 2 of the guys. Now there's tactics. These guys were running high on electronics because let me tell you, when we got hit with one of those sticky bombs, my health went from 0 to 0 in no time. Okay. So yeah, it was bad. I actually avoided death because the second sticky bomb that came around was like I was right at the borderline, so I just dove right out of it. That's the only reason why I survived that one. But there's people, I mean, that's the way they're playing. It's just high electronics. Mind you, their DPS wasn't all that great because even at 46%, they were shooting at me and I wasn't taking a lot of damage. So their primary source of damage was that sticky bomb. They were definitely looking for alpha strikes.
Yeah, the firearms were low.
Yeah,
so.
They were definitely looking for those alpha strikes, getting 2-3 sticky bombs and taking out an entire group. So anyway, so we take out 2 of the guys, and then lo and behold, here come 6 more people out. So that'll just segue us into what your thoughts are on that. I don't think that that's something that developers intended to happen.
Oh no,
You know,
definitely
as
not.
far as,
And that's been around since
of course
day
it
one.
has. It has been. It has been. That's for sure. It's a way for people to basically go on a manhunt. This group was going on a manhunt, and they were just basically covering themselves. So no matter who comes at you, you're thinking, "Oh, let's go on a manhunt. Let's go get them." But next thing you know, you've got 6 to 8 guys on your 4 versus your probably your 3 or 4, fireman team. So,
My thoughts on that, as somebody who did that last night, is it can be a lot of fun. We had 2 groups of 3 that we did last night, and it took a few instances to get it to work, because you gotta join on somebody's group and then like leave group and to all get in the same instance, and sometimes one of the groups gets end up booted to another server if the server's full. And let me preface it, I do hope they fix it, but in the meantime, if you got some friends, why not have some fun, I know people get salty about it, but it'll get fixed. Enjoy it while you can. But yeah, it's tough to deal with. Like we ran around, and I went rogue. I went manhunt twice. First time I actually died, which props to this guy. We started chasing one guy, and I don't know if they were buddies, and he just got he got us to all chase him, and then I happened to be in the back, sniping. So and I got a little behind everybody. So I get caught from behind, and I was down before I even knew it hit me.
Nice. Hit you hard.
He did. He hit me hard. It was a good move though. He took me down and then just booked.
Yeah.
Was like out of there. Yep. Because there was like 6 of us, but it was fun. The second one I got the timer
nice.
off, and we'd have people coming after us, and then it's funny, you'd get like a couple people would come after us because they see the rogue thing, and then they see there's a group of like 6 people, and they just turn and try to.
And it's funny because when it happened to us, we didn't see all 6 guys. There was I think the other guys were up extracting something because they just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's something I wasn't salty about it, but it was something. Again, the fact that they reduced the death penalty is great. So you die, and it's like whatever. It's a non-issue. You lose 1 key, you lose some XP and some dark zone funds. Whatever. Well, it's fine. It's no longer an issue.
Yeah, and the death loss is better on both sides. It's really it's not bad. Like I had just hit a rank. I think I had just hit 39, and then I lost that the rogue rank 5, and it knocked me down. Maybe I still had 3/4 of the one below, but I got back to fairly quick.
As an example of that, a Rex on Twitter a couple days ago, 3 days ago, put up a screenshot of what he lost at rogue rank 5. And I think he's like rank 50 or something crazy. 6,700 dark zone credits, 6 keys, and 9,800 dark zone XP. Now, I'm pretty sure that before they did the fix, it was like double that.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, it was more than double. It was more than I heard. Times. On the XP, it was like you would lose like 100,000.
Right, but I'm saying like, and he in his tweet quote, "That's what I lost for going rogue rank 5. I'm okay with that." Now, considering that's somebody who's been rank 50 for well over a week and a half, probably, or at least a week, you know what? I'll take that word.
Yeah.
I'll even say it's definitely better than it was. I think maybe the rogue rank 5 is a little too light of a penalty now. I think maybe double that would be a little more reasonable, because you would have to do it a couple times to lose a full rank at this point, whereas before you would actually lose like 3 ranks.
Gotcha.
I remember somebody was like rank 56 and they dropped to like 53 after one.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not even sure they were rogue
that's
rank
crazy.
5. It was like that's too much.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's going to be a little influx. I'm not that worried about it, because look how quick that response time was. I mean, the game was out for what, 2 weeks? Oh my gosh, seriously? So yeah, game's out for 2 weeks, and they go, you know what? We're going to reduce that penalty. And I feel like if people turn around and go, wow, that's not really harsh enough, let's give them another week.
Yeah. And they're not going to be what I like is they've been very responsive, but they're not basing it off of everybody saying whatever on Reddit and whatnot. They're looking at their servers and they're being like, not many people are going rogue. We need to reduce the penalty so that people will go rogue. And if it starts getting out of hand and too many people are going rogue, they'll increase it until
Yeah.
they find the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very responsive on everything.
I mean, we've been talking about
That
all
brings us
week
to
with what is it with Bullet King? I mean, that was something people were farming, and I mean, it's an exploit, is what it was. I mean, it was something they did not intend. Um, and it became very popular last week, so like Thursday or Friday, and within 4 or 5 days, fixed. And I'm going, wow,
yeah the next
yeah.
patch.
And I'm like, wow, that is a really fast turnaround. You let one weekend go on that, and it's over. And I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm very pleased, like you said, with the responsiveness of Movie Massive.
Yeah. On
Yeah, because the closest thing, I mean, to bring up the other elephant in the room,
Yeah.
Destiny. How long was that
Oh.
loot cave around?
Yeah.
I mean, it was at least weeks. I
Minimum.
think, Crash, you were thinking.
I
like
would
2
say
months, maybe?
roughly 2 months maybe. I mean it was around for a while. I mean we haven't played Destiny in a while, but that thing was around for a while.
Yeah, okay.
But look, another thing, talking about patch notes.
Yeah.
There's still that one bug where if you haven't heard it yet, if you're crafting a backpack, apparently there's a chance that you can get locked out of the game somehow. So
Be careful.
You have to craft a high-end backpack, and then I think it's mainly don't log out with your backpack full. That seems to be part of the issue. If you keep your inventory lower so that you don't need that backpack to be able to have that inventory, I think you still okay. And even then it's not like a guaranteed thing, so they're working on it. But because I have a couple high-end backpacks and I've been using them, and I haven't had. Luckily,
no, I crafted a few. I crafted a few high-end backpacks.
I crafted like 5 or 6, and I didn't have a problem. So it might be like you say, it might be something with the amount of items of inventory you have. If you're capped off or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But that is something.
So overall, though, the changes in the Dark Zone, I think, to get back on track there, have been really good. Because you get a lot more rogues, but hey, I got this trophy that killed 20 rogues, and I want to get to that, whereas before it was... So, and it's a little more... There's more tension when you see another group.
There is.
Right.
Yeah, and people are more likely to go rogue now than they were before, and it's actually you're not, at least I'm noticing it more on the server, on the Dark Zone. I mean, in there you see more rogues now popping up than before.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I don't mind it, but just keep in mind, somebody goes on a manhunt, stay frosty. There might be more than 4 of them. If you decide to go hunt them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
do your
back
homework.
to that, I mean, I talked about doing it, and that was fun. And if you get a really well-coordinated group of 8, I mean, you can just own a server. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do hope they fix that in the next patch, and I'm sure they'll fix it soon.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not sure what... I think as soon as... It's a tough one, because you can't... If you drop group, they can't kick you out, because that was the whole thing, whereas you can drop group and go rogue on your own group, right? They can't boot you right away. But somehow... I don't even know. What if they want to check friends lists?
No, you know what?
Something
Like that, something like that, Sean. In my opinion, let's say, for example, that you do leave a group, they don't do anything to you because you're just leaving the group, right? It could be it could be a pug, whatever. It doesn't matter. So you're leaving the group, you stay in the same instance. But once you joined a group again, exactly, there should be some type of mechanic. Exactly, there should be a line in there where okay, boom, we're gonna move you to another instance. So that could possibly fix that situation there. So leave a group, you're fine. You rejoin a group.
Be programmed. I just haven't thought about it.
So that's something. Again, just be careful when you're out there hunting, doing a manhunt.
Right.
Yep.
So we touched on that elephant in the room earlier. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about how rosy that elephant's cheeks are, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, the next thing we were going to discuss is the new Destiny update.
Yes.
That they had their Twitch stream this week, and they had some reveals out, so I'll let Julio kick that off.
Yeah. So there's Brad, you and I, we were like on the same page yesterday when we were running that that mission, the General Assembly mission, and Feilau pulls the line of we don't know what we don't know. We think that's the jab at Destiny. Why we don't have time? Why we don't have time to explain? I don't have time to explain. Why I don't have time to explain? So that might be. It could be. Might not be. But I'm just saying it's just too damn funny. It says we don't know why we don't know. So if you don't know what line that is, it's right when you go into the auditorium in the General Assembly, where you have to go down and turn on the computer. You'll hear Fei Lao say it. So play it again. It might be fun or not, but whatever.
But
it's there. Yes. Anyway, just briefly, just to cover Destiny, the new updates are for the future update in April. They're looking at light level increase, 335 lights. We have difficulty and rewards have both been increased in Prison of Elders, Court of Oryx, and Heroic Strikes, Nightfall Strikes, and in the King's Fall raid, as well as Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris. Prison of Elders.
Thoughts on each bullet point as we go, or do you want to?
You know what? We should do probably bullet points by bullet points because they're pretty quick to cover. I don't think we're gonna spend too much time on this anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving forward from that,
moving along. POE.
Moving along. Moving along. King's Fall is going to drop, higher level light stuff. Hard is going to drop even higher stuff, just so you can hop. So they want you to hop back into into prison.
So. Hold
Go ahead,
on
please.
Just a sec, though, with the King's Fall stuff. I mean, there's the good side of that I can gear up with it. There's the bad side where we've been running the same raid
for
like
7 months, 8 months now.
Or more, and now you want us to go in again to get more gear in the same raid.
It's not more gear, higher level gear.
Oh.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like,
man, Bungie, we love you guys.
on the bright side, you're keeping it relevant. On the bad side, you're making me run it more,
like Court of Oryx,
so that I can do
Court of Oryx is supposed to drop an artifact at 335, and it's like, well, that's cool, but has Court of Oryx changed? Is it the same court? If it's the exact same court, okay, that's nice.
Hey, you run it till you get your one.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? This is
335, and then
this is probably a welcome change to newer players. That they came in after they probably came in from the Taken King. It's good for them, but for a lot of players, at least for us, that we're veterans, we've been around since the beta playing Destiny. It's just like kind of meh. I mean, really, POE of all the content you could fix, you just risk in POE with Taken.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was why didn't they take like Vault of Glass and make
Dude,
Vault of
seriously
Glass drop 320 in 3.
Well, that you know what? That's something.
And everyone says that's their favorite raid. Everyone I've ever heard says that's their favorite raid, and I'm like,
it is. Vault of Glass is. I mean, King's Fall was a very well made raid. I'm not gonna lie. King's Fall was nice. Yeah. It's nice, but prior to that, it was definitely Vault of Glass. Vault of Glass was the gold standard for raids in Destiny. Which it was unmatched until King's Fall raid.
Yeah, I still like Vault of Glass better. King's Fall was good. Yeah. I don't really have any complaints about King's Fall other than it being the only thing to run for 6 or 7 months. But Vault of Glass was better, and let's go back there.
Definitely.
Just
there was a.
I know you can't give us the Fatebringer and the, we can't do the primaries with
Element.
With
the elementals.
With burn element. Thank you. But we could still run that and give us that gear.
Why not give you a Fatebringer without the elemental damage? I don't know. You know what? There was I've read online before the update came out. A lot of people were speculating and thinking that they might make the raids relevant. I mean, just
a lot of people were hoping
out
for
loud.
it.
Yeah, the people
were expecting
challenge modes
at least.
Exactly. They were expecting that because come on, man. There's been it's just a dry spell already for quite some time. I mean, it's March. I mean, we're going into April, and the best thing you came up with was, again, for the veteran players. Personally, it's not enough for me to go back and go play Destiny just so I can hit 335 light. So what? So then in 3 or 4 months, I'll go back in there and do what? They're gonna add a raid towards the end of the year. Who knows? So even what the hell they're gonna do?
Right.
So,
go ahead.
I'll probably wait until they do that. Until hey, we got a raid coming out in 3 weeks, and then I'll go do this stuff to get geared up for that raid, if the raid sounds interesting enough.
But anyway, to do it, go ahead, Brad, sorry.
Some of the other stuff they're adding, Winter's Run with the big, ugly Archon Priest. They're making that all taken now, and the Archon Priest is taken. They're also hopefully there's talk of gun shaders. There's been a couple screenshots of different guns that look very different than their base. During the stream, there was even the gun that dropped for those that were doing the prison. It said at the bottom as one of the perks, activates red chroma glow. So people are hoping that there are going to be some kind of gun shaders or innate shaders on the guns, which could be neat. They're giving a new quest line. PlayStation players are getting an exclusive quest line that gives probably an emblem or something at the end. They haven't said what.
Okay.
And there is a new strike with Malok, who is the new big bad trying to lead the Taken.
The new PoE boss.
But is it? But it's. Is it a new
Yes,
strike?
it's a
Or
new
is that the
strike.
Winter's Run. Oh, okay. See, I was getting ticked off because I thought they were saying Winter's Run was the new strike because it had.
No. They're doing Taken.
Okay. There's
a legit new strike called Blighted Chalice.
All right, that's what that.
It's not running around the same area. It's a new, like a completely new area.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then there is Prison of Elders, and they've redone. I can touch on some of the points real quick. Level 41, which is where you still have the chest at the end, will have a 50% chance of including a Taken boss. There are no keys required for loot at the end. And then the one that everybody's going to be interested in, I think, is the level 42 challenge mode, which you can buy like for 100 Glimmer a scorecard. If your team gets 30k points, you have a guaranteed weapon. If they get 90k points for the week, you get a guaranteed piece of armor from Varix. If you wipe in the challenge mode, your points will reset to the amount you had before the round started. So it's interesting. The scorecards every week are going to change on what the quote modifier is. During the stream, it was precision damage. Also, there is a timer. So if you start taking too long to do stuff to try to get points, Varric starts taking points from you. So you're trying to speed run it. You're trying to speed run it a little bit, and you're trying to get the points. So I think for people who still play Destiny, that even if you are a veteran player like we are, that could be something fun because it's a competitive sense in PvE content. So I think it's something good that they're working towards. I still think it's something that maybe we should have had the first time Prison came around.
Well, that's
what I was going to say. It's definitely a better prison, but like
it should have been that way from day one. It should, yeah.
Kind of, but I mean,
at least at the fact that it says that you can complete regular bounties in PoE and engrams can drop from enemies. I mean, is that such a concept
from day
that
one.
it's
why they didn't do that before?
Yeah, I remember the first time we ran into PoE, we're like, oh, awesome, let's just go in there, we'll complete a bunch of bounties.
Nope.
And then we're finding out nothing gets completed. Like, what the hell's going on? And then we find out you're not getting credit for anything. So now they basically unlock that and say, okay, so now you will get credit for all these things. But again, you know what? The changes are it's a welcome change, at least for old content, for newer players. Why they didn't do that with probably Crota and Vault of Glass, like we just mentioned, is beyond me. Because again, these players just came in with Taken King. They haven't played any of the previous. I have a friend that he was telling me that he's never run Vault of Glass. He started playing, I guess, with Taken King.
Okay.
And he's never ran VOG. I'm like, dude, you just gotta look in LFG. But then everybody in LFG is either running challenge mode for so it's you gotta find a group for it.
Yeah. Or if they're doing Vault of Glass, they're not gonna like take.
No, exactly.
Let them experience it really.
So
now that if he's on sometime, that I would go back to run somebody through Vault of Glass.
Right.
Definitely.
So I think the big thing for all of us right now, though, is that there are 2 more live streams for Bungie. There's going to be one next Thursday, and then I think the Thursday after that at like 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. And next week they said they're going to talk about armor and whatnot. And so I think a lot of people are reserving judgment until they come out with all the streams. I've even seen some of the bigger Destiny streamers on Twitter say something about it and go, you know what? It sounds great. Let's wait until they come out with all the information.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's the one thing we do know. So we don't know.
I have to admit, right. I have to admit, I'm still salty about, I don't know, just all sorts of stuff with Destiny.
Either way.
The lack of communication that seems to be even within the company, let alone with the players, just really bothers me. I am hoping that this, even if this is lackluster, hopefully, 95% of the team is working on Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 is going to be
Yeah.
great, and they have learned from all the missteps, and that Destiny 2 will be amazing with a decent story. Maybe we'll find out more about the Traveler in the Exo
Ooh.
Stranger. Like, what happened to the, I can't believe all these DLCs, nothing has ever gone back to the Exo Stranger, even though, like, the main story from the original game was, like, all about the
Yeah.
Exo Stranger. Like, just so many disconnects, and put the freaking Grimoire in the game,
Yep.
Yeah.
Either way,
somehow.
Add an
Or
echo.
even if it's just,
Add an
anyway,
echo
getting-
to the game. Where
right?
people are actually talking. You see, I mean, this takes place hundreds of years in the future, right? I'm assuming they have echoes. I mean, if the agents have Isaac, right, and all these fancy shade tech, a few hundred years into the future, you think they'd be all right? So,
right.
Yeah.
But-
The last thing I'll say about that is that Destiny still has the nicest, smoothest, best first-person shooter mechanics of the
Hands
game I've
down.
played.
Fair enough.
Just to leave it on a
Fair enough.
sweet note.
and so, Move.
Alrighty.
So coming up next, we have shoutouts from the Dark Zone. So if anybody has some Q&A questions in Twitch, fire them off now. And then, yeah, Julio, shoutouts from the Dark Zone.
Mog Nation. Shout outs. Mog PSN, our little slice of heaven. You guys are great. You guys make everything possible. The Division forums, the associated Discord for the Division forums, great group of people in there. Again, if you're looking for a group, they have a bunch of great resources there and a great community. It's a pretty big community too. So, and shout out to our buddy Solid Snake. Happy birthday! Today's his birthday.
Happy
He hits the
birthday!
big
Happy birthday,
3-0.
Nice.
So
Oh, he's so young.
the big 3-0, man. Happy birthday. Received lots of gifts.
So to touch on the Division community and their Discord, they have and everybody has access to this. There is a theory crafting area where I get a lot of my information about mitigation and all that other stuff. They also have an LFG for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and they're chats. And you can just hop in there and search for somebody and just say, hey, I'm looking for whoever to do challenge mode, to do dark zone farming, and you just list your gamer tag. And I mean, I did that the other day to do challenge mode. It's really nice. I want to say they said a couple weeks ago they have over 5,000 people hopping around there in and out.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a group and you played a strange time, hit them up. Like they're good people.
Yeah, I was pulling one of my late night gaming sessions. After you guys go to sleep, I'm still up. I'm like a night owl. I hopped in there. Hey, anybody want to go do the dark zone, whatever? Picked up, 2-3 people, ran around for a little while, and boom.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Quick and easy. You might be wondering, well, why not use
Yeah, for
the LFG in the game? I'm gonna tell you why. Because the LFG in the game is good, and this is a point just to kind of touch on Destiny again, why a lot of people say, "Oh, we want matchmaking." I like the matchmaking in this game, but when it comes to the challenge mode, gentlemen, get some gear before you go do a challenge mode. Do not just show up in the challenge mode with freaking 30k health, and they look at you and you just die. So come on, man, don't waste anybody else's
It's a
time.
gamble.
It's a gamble when it comes to you know what? The hard mode's fine. It's everybody. We can just blitz through that, right?
Right.
Fine. You can make up for 1 or 2 people that are under gear. Hell, you can solo that thing.
Right.
But come on, gentlemen, the challenge mode. It's just
Get it together.
It's a no-brainer. Get it together. Get it
Yep.
together.
All right, let's get along to the Q&A. We have a
Mhm.
couple questions here.
We have a couple from Evenstar.
She never got flawless raider.
How hard do you guys? Yeah.
Oh, my headset.
How hard do you guys find it to juggle your stats while trying to unlock weapon talents?
I find it's a back and forth. I find it's a tug and pull. Really, it is. It's like I said earlier. Either you are focusing on where you want your health, your armor, and your stats to be, or you're unlocking talents. And I feel like there's a happy medium there, because what I realized was I wanted health and I wanted armor mitigation, and there was no way I was going to have my Caduceus all the time and unlock everything to do it. I couldn't do it. So what I did is I said, you know what? I'm going to focus on stamina, armor mitigation, and maybe some firearms. And I went, okay, well, what talents are going to give that to me? And you can do some research, try to figure out what talents do what. But more than anything, I knew I wanted to find ones that did. So I started rolling guns to see what I would get, and talents that I would like, and ones that I could unlock with what I would wanted to do. Now, if there's a gun you want and a gun you love, try focusing on the gun. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very dependent like that. I just go for my glass cannon firearms build at this point because I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
So I have a first wave M1A that I want to use that has elite damage in the armor, but that I need to switch to more electronics. So I may use the other one in the Dark Zone, and I may use this one in challenge modes, because in challenge modes I don't mind putting to the higher electronics because I'm sitting in smart cover.
right.
So it's worth it to have more electronics. When I'm in the Dark Zone, I don't use smart cover because I'm always
Yeah.
moving. I don't sit in a cover
Right.
long enough to make it worth it, especially against
Right.
other agents.
Makes sense.
Hey, if you're running as a group, it's fine if somebody runs smart cover.
Yeah.
With the trapper mod. But if you're running solo,
It is tough, definitely off the start, to unlock those things because you don't have a lot of gear.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with what you
Right.
have. But I would say, like you were saying, if you can't unlock a talent on a gun, if it's a recipe one, roll another one and get some talents that fit what you
Right.
do have.
Right. I would agree.
And if you like it, save it for later when you do have more gear and you can hit.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yep.
Julio?
Same thing you guys said. Like I mentioned earlier about the Caduceus, about me not even having any of the talents unlocked. I'm still using the weapon because I
Right.
love it. It's got a nice DPS output, but I don't have any talents unlocked for it.
Right. And I feel
Yeah.
like to make that gun effective, you need that high electronics because of the perk that gives you the skill
Mhm.
cooldown.
Yeah.
So,
It's unfortunate, you know what? Because I have the Liberator as well, and the Liberator has the same freaking specs.
That's a high
Yeah, it's another high
electronics
electronic build.
too.
So
mhm.
I'm waiting to get, probably, if I can get like a high-end ACR, a high-end SCAR-L maybe, that doesn't
Right,
require
right.
electronics, that might work,
Mhm.
to my advantage. Again, I go back to the MK16 that I have.
Yeah.
It's specifically firearms and stamina, which is right up my alley. So I have
Yeah.
both talents unlocked for that.
Yeah.
Nice,
So yeah,
nice.
you can still
We're,
use the weapon if you like the weapon, which is my case with the Caduceus, even though I don't have the talent unlocked
Right.
because I can't find anything better for it. But it's a trade off.
Yeah.
It's a trade off.
We're running super long, so I'm going to move on to the next question. So, do you guys have a new favorite cosmetic item? What's the new pom pom beanie?
Surprisingly, I'm really love some of the jackets. I know a lot of people think jackets are because there's so many of them, but I love switching around and having like a white jacket, a white shirt, and a white beanie on, or like all purple or all green. I think looks really cool. But my favorite jacket by far has to be the Sierra jacket. That thing looks fantastic. It is probably my favorite looking jacket in the game.
Nice.
Is that a red?
It's black, red. What is it? It's black, white, and red.
Yeah,
Jacket.
it's very nice. I saw it yesterday. It's got like black arms, and then the chest piece has got like a white or red stripe too as well. Well, it looks very nice. It's a very nice looking jacket. As for me, I bought the Marine DLC, and just to touch on something that they did change with the update, and I mentioned it to you guys. For example, I was rocking the desert camo.
Mm-hmm.
The pants themselves had the desert camo. The shirt didn't have it. It had green sleeves, and it had like the actual tan colored, chest part. But after the update, they fixed it, and now it actually looks like a proper desert camo. The urban marine camo looked like JTF, which sucked. I didn't like to wear it just because of that. And JTF doesn't help at all, so I'm not wearing their colors. But anyway, after the change, the actual urban camo looks like a proper urban camo,
Nice,
grayish,
nice.
whitish, blackish. It looks very nice. So I'm usually just rocking the urban camo with my guy.
Nice.
I'm still all about that.
Nice.
But I do like matching the. I have a whole set so I can match the color of my jacket that I feel like wearing at the time. But that does it for the questions, and we're running up to an hour.
All right.
So thank you everybody That's our show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Twitch, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and of course, check out our website, intothedarkzone.com. You can also send us feedback via any of these sources. Also, tune in next week on Saturday at 9 a.m. EST.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.